There are few issues in Sarawak today. Two of the most pressing, I can say that. One is the issue on native rights, and second is I think we can talk about the 1820 points on the Malaysian agreement. Now, native rights issue was, in fact, it was predominant in the state election, and a lot of people question us, of course. In spite of that issue, we only won a few seats in Sarawak. And as I look back and as I observe today, I think that is still one of the most important, because I think now there is more and more evidence that NCR land had been taken away, given out to companies, either to Sarawak companies or even companies from outside Sarawak. And that's how the challenge that I had with the Chief Minister earlier on, to have a debate whether it is true that the state government had given out thousands of NCR land to foreigners, depriving the locals, the native themselves, of that birthright, as it were. So the issue comes about because of the different views and understanding as to what comprises native customary land. One, the government is saying your native customary land is only confined to the Temuda area. Temuda area means the farm land, farm area before 1958. Now, the other view, which is the court's view, which came out in the landmark case of Nor Anak Nyawai, confirmed in Madali Saleh's case, that went all the way to the federal court, which now decides that native customary land is not only confined to Temuda, but it includes a bigger area they call locally Permakai Menua, or the ancestral land, or the communal land by virtue of adat and common law, and that includes as well the Pulau Galau, or the preserved forest or land of the natives. Now, if that definition comes in, it means that huge area of land, and according to the case law, an area of half a day's walk from their original place or their original home or from their village can be claimed as Pamakai Menua. And that could be 15 kilometers or even 20 kilometers from their village. Now today, PL had been given to land surrounding the villages within 15, 20, 30, even 1 hour walk on foot. Now that is very obvious. And yet, the government can say that is state land. Now the next thing that is a pressing issue, of course, is the fulfillment of the 1820 points for Sabah and Sarawak, and for Sarawak, which is very similar. And what are these points? And among the 20 points that we have for Sarawak is what they call the Bruneiization of the civil service. What does it mean? And one is that every department, the federal department in Sarawak and Sabah, must be headed by a local resident Sarawakians, or Sabahan for the matter. And what I've been informed, out of the about 100 departments in Sarawak, 10% are only headed by a local. Now, we are now almost 50 years independent. We are reaching the 50th year. Now, this is still an issue. The second thing on the agreement is that the constituency for parliament, the composition in parliament, vis-a-vis the parliamentary constituency for Sabah and Sarawak should at least be 33% therein, yeah? So that there would be that balance of about 30%, 33% Sabah, Sarawak, and Semenanjung. So this again had been watered down after Singapore left, and then that concession to Singapore had been divided into two, and Semenanjung took half of it, and then Sabah Sarawak shared, and therefore we are holding now less than that 33-34%, and therefore to that the rights of Sabah and Sarawak had been trodden upon, and therefore there is no power, there is no numbers that we have in Parliament to oppose this and sustain on the issue. And we talk about scholarship, for example. People from Sabah and Sarawak are not given fair shares of scholarship. And we talk about representation of ambassadors overseas, for example. You just count how many are from Sabah and Sarawak, because our view and agreement, as it were, the Malaysian agreement is that Sabah and Sarawak, Melaya in Singapore, we all form Malaysia. We did not join Malaysia. Is this that Sabah and Sarawak is left far behind in terms of development, and of course this is either because of corruption of the leaders in the state, or mismanagement of our resources, because we're supposed to be the richest state, if I may say, Sabah and Sarawak, but yet we are among the 4 poorest states in the whole nation. Now we ask ourselves, we have plenty. We have petroleum for Sabah, for Sarawak. We have LNG in Bintulu, perhaps the top producer of LNG in the world, And so we are very rich, yet we are among the poorest state. Now that is a big question mark on that. Now, therefore, how do we look at this? And we offer from Pakatan Rakyat our vision, our dasar, and our policies on this. Well, in terms of the native capacity right issue, we have agreed that we are going to form this native land commission. Should be given the power to rule, and this commission would be headed by a local native person composed of the native themselves, and give it power under an ordinance, a state law, a power one to investigate all claims of native rights, even dispute between the natives and the companies, planters, timber license holders, etc., etc. Now, what about the other 1820 points issue? Now we have our policy, and Pakatan Rakyat have signed, in fact, our main policies in 2009. I was there, I remember, that on this issue, we promised to revisit, and see where the Barisan Nasional government had failed Sabah and Sarawak, that it must be fulfilled. And one of the areas, of course, that we would like to see is that the standing of the state of Sabah and Sarawak be equal to Semenanjung. One, of course, if you look at the policies on the payment of royalties, for example, increasing it from 5% for Sabah and Sarawak to 20%, or even to 15% at the end of the day, if we can receive that. And you can imagine the tremendous fund that is in our hands to develop the whole state. And I can tell you, one of the things that I would propose with this fund that we have for Sarawak is to open the countryside, the hinterland, with roads, with good roads opening into all the countryside, where you give opportunity for the people in the hinterland to have access to the city, to the towns. a lot of people are asking me as to the reasons and why I'm now involved in politics. We must go back to the days when I was in universities and why I took up law. I realized then that when I took up law, there were only 4 lawyers in my community, and I'm the 5th one, in fact. And I realized that there's a need for my people to have professional lawyers to advise them on issues touching their rights. And then I knew, even before I went to law school, that native land would be something that is so dear to our people. And I can recall back, even when I was in Form 5, I asked the headman to endorse a map that I drew myself of our native land in Ulu Trusan area. And that was Form 5, you know. And I told my dad that one day this company will reach our area and they will finish our area. And he was very surprised. Then we couldn't even see the companies in my area. Only in 1987 that they came, and this was in 1981. And that's after I took up my legal studies. I came back with a conviction as a Christian, as a person who believed that God had called me into this profession, that I must therefore use my gift, use what I have to defend and to fight for the rights of those who are in need. The Bible talks about the defenseless and the poor, that they can't speak for themselves. And I thought I was born in such an environment, in a community. So that's how I took up native cases relating to land. And since 1990, up to this day, I've filed in almost 200 cases in the High Court. And therefore, I am convinced that I must therefore turn to politics. And I convince my friends that the only means now is to get political powers, because that would change the policies, that would change the whole scenario in Sarawak. Because policies are being made and introduced by the government of the day. And therefore we must, and if it relates to these issues, then we have to look at politics to resolve it. And that's the reason why I eventually joined politics. In fact, I joined the PBDS in 1987. Then, of course, it was in the height of logging issues, the Penan issue, Bruno Mensa issues. Then in 1987, when I came back to Sarawak. So that was the opening, as it were, and that's how I said, well, we have to work through political means of bringing and resolving these whole issues on native rights.